Hello, my audience. Good morning, my 47, I think, or 48. I have subscribers now. 47, 48, something like that. Um, so my subscribers grown. Thanks for growing my subscribers. Grow my subscribers. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Comment below, or don't have to, below after this video is over. Or not, I don't care. But like, subscribe this video, please, to my channel. This is my review on Spider-Man 3 2007 flick movie. You know, I changed my mind really just now, because I really have a movie that's more fresh in my head, the No Way Home movie. So I'm talking about that because I want to talk about a movie I hate, not a movie I like, okay? I hate Spider-Man No Way Home as a 6 out of 10. It is mediocre, down to its dumbest conclusion of a movie in a nutshell. It's convoluted characters, amounts of way too many jumbling characters, which makes with characters, which makes with main characters. There are plot threads, moving devices for the movie to get going. Even Spider-Man himself is a moving devices, a tool for the plot of the movie. He's not a character at this point. He's just a tool for to sell tickets at this point in the franchise. Because there's 3 Spider-Man's variants for the price of 1 movie. 3 heroes for the price of 1 movie. And it sold well. What the fuck is wrong with you people, Spider-Man doofuses? We traded Andrew for this Spider-Man. We traded his Amazing Spider-Man 2, or Amazing, we traded his like failed Spider-Man future for Tom Holland's future of Spider-Man. And that's the only live-action Spider-Man for Peter Parker. Within the Sacred Timeline, that's the only one that they plan on making about Peter Parker, I'm sure. We'll see Tom Holland's. They plan on forgetting, probably plan on never ever bringing back Maguire or Andrews, Elseworld story Spider-Man. The one gets Tom Holland's now on, and he's the somehow less accurate than the Maguire's Spider-Man by this end of this movie. He somehow represents less of Spider-Man from the 616 comics than Maguire did with his organic web shooters. And the lack of quips that Maguire did. In this movie, I think he represents Maguire's Spider-Man more than any incarnations of Spider-Man in this movie. And that's not a good thing for me as a Spider-Man fan, because I really didn't care for Maguire's reimagining of the character incarnation as a kid and as an adult. As an adult, more as. But more angry as a kid I was. Less angry now that I have a YouTube show because of it. And you see how angry I was in the beginning of season 1. That's how angry I was with like Maguire, Spider-Man. As a kid, But I think my love for my YouTube show is about my issues with movies. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so Spider-Man No Way Home has Maguire as Spider-Man in it, and Andrew's Spider-Man at the 3rd act of the movie after the halfway point's over. When is that just about wrapping up? The climax hasn't happened yet. That's when Andrew Maguire, Spider-Man, played by their respective counterpart actors, reprised the role for their last time, most likely. Within the Sacred Timeline crossover event, this movie is. Want to know why I think I hate this? To steal a little criticism why do I think I hate this movie? I know why I hate this movie, actually. I'm going to ball a little comment to criticize this movie. I'm going to ball a little critic comic from Chris Stuckman on by Chris Stuckman. When I saw his review on The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the first time, he said he didn't like that movie because it feels like a product. Well, I know what this movie feels like to me. A fucking shitty product that made money. And a fucking overrated ton of money. Every film's a product, because the problem is, I hate to bust your butt, but every film's a fucking shitty fucking product. But some just shit out more shit than others with their ideas throwing to the wall of movies. Products. Every movie's a fucking boom product. Even the stupid Maguire trilogy, that was a movie product. That was a product for its time. And so is this. A product. And as a lazy product, I hate it. A lazy, cheap, put together lazy man project, this felt like. This fucking movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, sucked balls to the walls hard. With his pacing issues and his sloppy editing here and there, all troubling the plot. Without little to no narrative, getting no Spider-Man better, or Peter Parker's persona, or seeing the luck, with the Parker luck collide with his world as Spider-Man. We don't get to see none of that because his secret identity is completely exposed in the open. Now everyone knows who Peter Parker's Spider-Man is, so we don't get any of that conflicted drama for the comics. Aren't you happy, you asshole audience Spider-Man fans? You got rid of you traded like, you know, Maguire Andrews Spider-Man era that at least tried to focus on the compelling drama for the comics. That was the conflicting narrative of Spider-Man. To nothing. Where's Hollins? I have my blood pressure, god damn it, up to a 180, it feels like. Oh, fuck. I hate this movie. I hate it. I hate everything it's doing. I hate how it brings the Green Goblin back. I hate it brings Dr. Octopus back in for a cameo. And all the villains. I hate how it brings all these characters back in for cameos that mean they're respectful or better written in their own movies, respected universes. When they were in Andrews and Maguire's films, they bring villains back from both eras. And you know what? I feel like I'm being violated watching this shit. Because I hate everything the movie's doing. I hate how they bring back recurring original villain characters from that we've seen before, for the same exact counterparts from the past, instead of making new ones for Tom Holland's Spider-Man to face what's in his universe same time. Instead of creating an original plot with original villains for Hollins that from his universe, we get to bring in the multiverse. So that means he goes up against Andrew's villains, Rogues Gallery, and Maguire's Rogues Gallery, but none of him from his own Rogues Gallery makes a comeback or a cameo to fight. And what you know, Hollins is the weakest Spider-Man. Out of all of the Spider-Man, he's the weakest one. He's not even OP like Andrews or Maguire's was back in the past. And this movie proves it. And hammers it in like a motherfucker to the head. And I hate it. I hate the change. I hate why are they doing this to Spider-Man? My favorite Marvel hero. Why are they doing this to him? I hate it. This is the worst Spider-Man movie that I ever seen in my fucking life since Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man from 2002. Which I thought were the two worst Spider-Man movies of all time before this movie came out. The 2002 one and the 2004 one titled as Spider-Man 2. And the 2.1 cut sucked. Didn't help. Made it worse. You know it's true because I seen it. And if you've seen it, you know 2.1's worse than a theatrical cut. And it's a director's edit cut from Sam Raimi, the 2.1 cut known as. Sucked. Really sucked. Not as much as this movie, No Way Home. I give this a 6 out of 10. I hate this fucking movie like I hated Dragon Ball Z Evolution live action flick and James Cameron's Titanic movie. That was around 3 hours too long. I think I said all I need to say about Spider-Man No Way Home. That's why I give it 6 out of 10 and why I fucking hate this movie. Suck this movie. This movie can eat shit and burn in hell next to Satan's cock and suck James like a sperm when he's hard. At the pit of hell, when hell freezes over on earth, this movie will be by Satan's cock, I bet. Sucking Satan. When he's blowing a load. Spider-Man sucks in this movie. Because Tom Holland's the worst variant of Spider-Man since Maguire's Spider-Man played him. At least Maguire was overpowered as Spider-Man, the Shrink, you know? And Jelly as Spider-Man was still there. Personality-wise, not really that much left of Spider-Man. But what does Holland have other than this being a whiny fucking cunt about everything? And being a stalker, wanting to join the Avengers, only to bail out at the end. He's very inconsistent, whiny cunt. Of not wanting to know what he wants in life. What a moron. This reduced to Spider-Man too. A moron. This is the worst Spider-Man. Next to 616 Spider-Man from the modern era post One More Day. Spider-Man One More Day from the comic lord stories. That's how bad I hate this Spider-Man movie more than any other modern 616 comics. After One More Day destroyed the MJ and Peter relationship forever. Split them up. And retcon several decades of history was had workers working on Spider-Man. Several writers and artists worked on all that past continuity back to the Stan Lee days and Steve Ditko eras that started and butchered this character with one blow, One More Day, and never climb up back from greatness was in the comic book War 616. Somehow I fear that this movie is just a tipping off point of what's to come with Spider-Man 4. Of worse things to come. Unless they do a complete retcon of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, make him more faithful to the 616 Spider-Man back in the glory days before One More Day happened. And ruined him forever for all old comers and newcomers. Now no one wants to check his out story because he sucks. Like this movie sucks. Like modern Spider-Man sucks. From 616 Comics. That's the one where Paul's with MJ now instead of Peter. Those kind of stories suck. Like this movie. You know it's true if you do comparison of looking at both contents. One's better. I think the comic I can say is better. 616 modern comic is better run than anything this movie did. with Spider-Man. I had nightmares of stuff. I would say stuff like this on camera. Confessions to my soul to you. I don't like it. Let that sink in. All this knowledge of Spider-Man sucks now. You get nothing good content for new Spider-Man content, and it's all your Spider-Man fault for separating mediocre crap and making money off of this movie and seeing this movie after COVID blew over in 2021. You suck, audience, sometimes seeing these movies and promoting this piece of shit like Spider-Man No Way Home movies. I didn't see it in theaters, thank God. No, I saw when it came to streaming. After it was out of theaters, long afterwards. A few years after it was out of theaters. And then I finished it and hated it. Movie, whole thing. On Prime, watched it. Amazon. Streaming service, I watched it on. That's why I guess Spider-Man No Way Home a 6 out of 10. It mediocre sucks. Like a piece of shit, like diarrhea coming out of your asshole violently, is more exciting than this movie and more fun of a roller coaster ride than this piece of horseshit of a movie. Violent diarrhea coming out of my asshole and sweating like a pig is more exciting than Spider-Man No Way Home. The third installment of the Tom Holland franchise, but not the last. Dear God, there's a fourth one coming. Fuck me. Goodbye, my onions. Like this video, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you thought of this movie, or don't. I don't care. Really. Goodbye. That's my review of Spider-Man No Way Home with Tom Holland's third installment franchise of his Spider-Man run. I hate this movie, but I like the first two ones with Holland. See those ones? Those are better. Watchable. Not perfect, but watchable. 8 out of 10 I give them. Homecoming and No Way Home, the first two. This one just sucks as a mediocre piece of shit. 6 out of 10. For me, I hate this. Worst comic book movie by Marvel ever seen since Spider-Man 2. And Howard the Duck. And Spider-Man 1 from 2002. Those are the top worst Marvel movies I've seen by Marvel. With Marvel characters. This is number 1. Takes the cake. Even next to Howard the Duck movie. Let that sink in. I generally feel like I lost my mind more watching this than Howard the Duck jokes. By Howard the Duck movie. From the 90s. Made by George Lucas, directed by Mind. That was originally going to be an anime film, but made it into live action because George Lucas thought it would be a good idea. And boy, was he fucking wrong. Because a character like Howard Duck can only work legally, with legal rights, probably in live action, functionally, executing wise. Because here's the thing about Howard the Duck, the character in the comics, based off I know. Okay, you know how Deadpool breaks the fourth wall and makes comics about the pokes fun of the Marvel lore from comics? Howard Duck does that too. It's kind of one of his character traits. But he gets often in trouble, like in prison, because he's a bit of a drunk. And gets and She-Hulk often is like one of those lawyers that bails him out, or sometimes Matt Murdock. When he's drunk in prison, got up to getting drunk, is like from what I understand, it's one of those like meta dark comedies, comic runs. Howard the Duck is, even though I never looked at picked up a Howard Duck comic. To be honest with you, fairly, I only know based off what I've researched within internet looking at. I'm interested in looking at Howard Duck comics or picking up one. But he sounds like he's a cool character, I think, from what I understand of him, know of him, knowledge, and a funny character. So, with that being said, I think the fact that George Lucas made a Howard Duck movie in live action is part of the movie's problem. Now I'm reviewing the Howard Duck movie. Isn't that great? I give it a 6 out of 10. I hate this movie as much as Spider-Man No Way Home. Probably. No Way Home a little more. Hate it. Than Howard the Duck movie from the 90s that George Lucas directed and flush crap down the toilet into making Howard Duck name, tanking the Howard Duck name by making a flop. And not really making it faithful to the comics, and making a live action was a big mistake. That was this big mistake, because Howard Duck, you know, I think I can see how Marvel, I can see how like it would only work. I can see why originally was meant to be a animated movie, because Howard Duck's humor, and when he does action, he does that sometimes violence action in comics. His kind of tone was, it really is a Looney Tune character tone, but more edgy. His humor, Howard Duck's humor, like a drunken Looney Tune character, is what Howard Duck comes across as. And I don't think you can really do it justice in live action. And George Lucas has proved why you shouldn't do a live action Howard Duck movie and One Below. Because it blowed money and sucked script. It wasn't faithful to those comics, or it wasn't even a brilliant reimagining of the character like Bryan Singer's X-Men from 2000 was. It was just shit. Pure, unfiltered shit of a movie. Unapologetic shit of a script. Howard the Duck comes across as a mind fuck of a shit of a script of an unapologetic movie that sucks. It's a 6 out of 10. You're just glad it ended when it ended. When the credits started rolling. Oh, but the soundtrack's top-notch and catchy. But does that make it a good movie? Fuck no. That's like saying Transformers the Animated Movie is a good movie. The one from 1986 is a good movie just because, hey, it has punk rock and the Autobots are dying with the punk rock music playing. Awesome! That's just stupid. I'm pretty sure. But that's the only thing what I liked about that movie, Transformers in 1987 flick, is the soundtrack and the animation. And the voice acting was decent for the time, but it was kind of, just a dumb script and a dumb premise, dumb rushed job, it felt like, of a story. That's my problem with Transformers 1989 flick. I mean, the original flick called Transformers the Animated Movie. In fact, I want to talk about this now. I give the Transformers Animated Movie, it's not as bad as Titanic or Dragon Ball Evolution or the first two white movies I reviewed in this video, which is I give a 6 out of 10 Howard Duck and Spider-Man No Way Home. I hate. This movie I don't hate as much, but I do hate it. But I like it as I can appreciate it more as a guilty pleasure, but as in I feel like I wouldn't ever in my life on my deathbed recommend it to anybody, not even my worst enemy, Vinny DiStefano, who abused me as a kid at age 5 to 13, before I left and lived with Dad since. He was a Medford cop, lived in Medford, and I lived with my mom with him as a kid for almost 8 years of my life as a kid. That's how much I don't hate Transformers the animated movie. Enough to give it an 8 out of 10. For fun, stupid, writing, mediocre, fun, popcorn goodness. It's okie dokie fun. Okay. The worst Transformers movie of all time, next to Transformers The Last Knight, is my least favorite Transformers movie of all time, out of any live action ones or cartoon ones I've seen. I've seen like this movie and a few other cartoon Transformers movies. I don't know. I forget how many Transformers stuff I've seen. The animated stuff and the shows and movies kind of blur together in my head, so get mixed up sometimes. So anyway, Transformers the animated movie from the 1980s flick, the original one. I give it 8 out of 10. It's B-movie fun. Rush fucking job of a mess. Convoluted script. Nonsense writing. And gratuitous violence just for the sake of shock value to make off money off of kids. But what's wrong with making money off the parents? Nothing. Fuck the parents' hard-earned money. You guys suck, is what this movie tells us. For many Transformer fans, you suck, like in this movie. And thinking that this movie's quality, and really it's just a fun train wreck of a bonkers movie. Guilty pleasure in my book. As an 8 out of 10. I like this movie as an 8 out of 10. What would I do different? Well, first, I would come up with a better script and come up with a completely different story where you don't kill off Autobots to punk rock thing. Like you're enjoying it. With the right, like the voice acts like they're enjoying it. If I was going to have to kill off tons of Autobots, I wouldn't do it for shock value and not give them any dialogue. Which is the opposite of what they had in the cartoon first 2 seasons. The cameos they played in the role of the series. Of the first 2 seasons of Transformers. Oh, what, you probably didn't think I've seen the first 2 seasons of your OG show. Yep. And I've seen the final season of the show. And I'm going to explain how nothing good came after this from the OG incarnation. This movie is what tanked the Transformers brand in terms of quality. Don't believe me? Rodimus Prime toys didn't sell. And the only reason why they brought Rodimus Prime in was to replace Optimus Prime, main mascot for the first 2 seasons, who was the main ideal, like a main character for a while, before Rodimus Prime becomes Rodimus Prime in this movie. After getting promoted from Hot Rod to Rodimus Prime and unlocking the power of the Matrix, and entering the final season of the show, he's just a whiny little bastard that wants to give up the mantle of being the leader so much. Does not want to be the leader. In fact, when in the finale of the show, they have to bring Optimus Prime back to save the world after Rodimus Prime gets the plague. And in the plot of the show, this plague was this affecting many Autobots and Decepticons alike. It's a plague on the Earth. And so Optimus Prime gets to resurrect, but he has to get the power of the Matrix of leadership through in chest of Rodimus Prime, unlock it so he can get the power of the Matrix and light their darkest hour and free everyone from this plague. This hate plague it is, basically, I think it is. It's making violent and killing people. I don't look, I gotta be honest with you, the animation also dipped down in quality from the movie, not just from the first 2 seasons quality of the show, but even from the movie standards. And the movie, it's not as good as the first 2 seasons animation or the movie animation where they killed off Optimus Prime in the feature film. So not even that, the writing's not as good, I mean, the style of the delivery from the cast is still there, as good as ever, sharp as ever. But the story of the script of the final season of Transformers was like 3 or 4. I forget how many seasons there were. I forget 3 or 4 seasons of the original show. I forget right now. So I'm going to review the original show now in this video. I give Transformers the animated movie a 8 out of 10. And Transformers the final season after this, the series, a 8 out of 10. For guilty pleasure writing. Goofy popcorn fun writing. I give the first 2 seasons of the show a 10 out of 10. The one was before they killed Optimus Prime. Because the writing I thought was pretty good, actually. And the animation got better after the first episode wrapped up. And the stories got better. I thought more tight pace, well more constructed, and better, tighter action, more all around got better. You know, as the show got better and more went on within the first 2 seasons before they killed Optimus Prime for the feature film, the action was pretty top notch. Up there was the Michael Bay action from the Transformers live action flicks. It looked pretty cool for a kids film. I mean, kids show, even though it was marketed to kids. And it was, Transformers, interesting fact, Transformers was originally just another toy product. A show made to sell toys to kids. Originally, that was the plan back in the day for all shows marketed to kids. That was the idea. Get them to sell toys. Use the shows as second reasons telling. So basically, toys. Getting the toys to sell were more the focus, bread and butter focus of the show, not really the stories. Which kind of sad because the stories in the show, and the first 2 seasons are pretty good and well, more mature, I thought, for its time, and also a little more than other things for shows of kids content now these days, I think, which I appreciate. I mean, and I enjoy the first 2 seasons of Transformers. I give it a 10 out of 10, the first 2 seasons. The last season, a 8 out of 10. The movie, a 8 out of 10. Now I'm going to talk about the Michael Bay 5 Transformers movie in another video. And how that's a lot better than most people give it credit for. That franchise, my favorite live action franchise of all time in movie format. That's my review on the Transformers OG show and OG movie, and Spider-Man 3rd movie with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, and starring Andrew and Maguire Spider-Man as cameos at the end. But they play a small role, important, effective, short but sweet. Those 2 Spider-Man. They're not from Holland's universe. In the plot of No Way Home. And that's my review on Howard the Duck movie. The 90s movie, or 80s movie came out. Okay? That's my review on Transformers, Spider-Man, and Howard the Duck. Stuff from back in the day. Well, actually, Spider-Man's pretty still recent. It's 2021 came out, but I guess it's old enough. It's 2026 now, I think, or 25. One of those years. I get years, 1 year. I'm always 1 year off, getting this year's mixed up at this point in the year. So that's the year now. 2025 or 26. Fuck. I forget what the year is now. Anyway, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye. Subscribe, like this video, please.